being alone doesn't feel empty to everyone. For some people, it feels calm, clear, even energizing. And that confuses others, because from the outside, being alone looks like withdrawal. It looks like avoidance. It looks like something must be wrong. But psychology explains this very differently. For some minds, being alone isn't a lack of connection. It's a form of recovery. Most people assume energy comes from interaction, talking, sharing, being around others. And for many people, that's true. But not all nervous systems recharge the same way. Some brains lose energy through constant stimulation, noise, conversations, social expectations. Even positive interactions still require processing. Tone of voice, facial expressions, timing, responding the right way. That processing costs mental energy. So when everything finally goes quiet, the brain doesn't feel lonely. It feels relieved. This is why being alone can feel recharging. Not because someone dislikes people, not because they're antisocial, but because their nervous system finally gets a break. No input, no performance, no monitoring, just rest. Psychology often calls this self-regulation. The brain naturally looks for environments where it can stabilize itself. For some people, that environment is social connection. For others, it's solitude. Being alone reduces sensory load. It lowers cognitive demand. It gives the mind space to reset, and that reset feels like energy returning. This is also why alone time doesn't always mean sadness. It can feel peaceful, grounded, even enjoyable, because during that time, the brain isn't reacting, it's recalibrating. A common misunderstanding is assuming that enjoying solitude means someone is disconnected, but the opposite is often true. People who recharge alone are usually very sensitive to emotional input. They notice shifts in mood, subtle tension, unspoken expectations. Their minds stay on around others. So being alone isn't about escaping people. It's about escaping overload. This is also why social interactions can feel draining even when nothing goes wrong. No conflict, no negativity, just exhaustion. That doesn't mean the interaction was bad. It means the brain worked hard, and now it needs quiet to recover. Over time, this creates a pattern. The brain starts associating solitude with safety, with balance, with relief, so alone time becomes something it actively seeks, not out of fear, but out of understanding what it needs. And this is where labels usually get it wrong. Words like boring, withdrawn, or antisocial don't describe what's actually happening. What's happening is regulation, the mind choosing an environment that helps it function better. Being alone feels recharging because it removes pressure. No one to impress, no one to respond to, no emotional multitasking, just presence. And here's the important part. This doesn't mean someone doesn't value connection. It means they value it enough to protect their energy. Because when their mind is rested, they show up more fully, more attentively, more genuinely. So if being alone feels recharging to you, it's not a flaw. It's a signal that your nervous system recovers in quiet, that your mind processes deeply. That rest looks different for you. Most people don't notice this difference, but once you do, a lot of behavior suddenly makes sense.